Hey there, folks. How you doing? It's Professor G, and welcome to summer school for Earth Science GL100. And what makes this summer special, for lack of a better word, is that we're using a new learning system. All right, we're using this bright space, or D2L, as they also call it. Um, Hopefully, you guys have all found it now. I'm sort of showing you something you already know if you're watching this video. But nonetheless, I'm going to show you what you do here. So you click onto Brightspace. And something that I just want to emphasize here is I am as new to this as you guys are. Okay, I have built the site over the last couple weeks, but really that's the extent of my work with this stuff. So I'm a newbie too, and if we have patience with each other, I think we'll get through this. We'll get through this okay. So there's a couple ways to look at this. This is sort of the default landing page, right? And it's got a whole bunch of classes here. It's got some dummies they put in here for me. It's got this summer. Heck, it's even got apparently next fall in here already. And you know, I don't want to see all that stuff. So one thing I did figure, I see these little push pins that are showing up here. All right. I went through and pinned these two classes so I can, if I leave it here, whenever I come back to this site, it'll just show my two summer courses. But it looks like it actually moved the two pinned ones right up here to the front. How I pinned that was I went over to here, see those three dots, and I just clicked on pin, and that moved them up here for me. So if you pin them, they should be the first. It should be the first class that shows up, and then, like I said, if you go over to this tab, it's the only class that shows up. So this is Earth Science, as I said. So we'll click here. Second 5 weeks, I'm teaching geology. And I'm sorry, there's a toolbar over here that I would love to get rid of, but I think it's a function of my screen recorder. I don't even know if you guys can see it, but I don't need it. But I don't think it's going anywhere either. So this toolbar, again, if you can see it, is part of the screen recorder, not your class. The first thing I want to do is make sure you guys are getting my announcements, because these announcements are super important. This is the way that I'm going to communicate with you. Yes, there is a schedule. Yes, there is a syllabus, but this is my primary means of organization, communication, direction, clarification. All that stuff runs through announcements. And I'm just a little nervous that you guys aren't getting my announcements. So I've already talked to the ladies. I'm sure they're crazy busy today in ed tech, educational technologies. But just to make sure how this all works, I believe it's right here under your name. All right, you click on that, not the gears. The gears is something else. You want to go to notifications. All right. Now, first of all, there's an app. I haven't messed around with it yet, but that should be could be cool. Could be cool. Because what I want to make sure is that when I post an announcement, you are notified that I've posted an announcement. Okay? And I'm used to Blackboard, as many of you probably are. And you know that as soon as your teacher, or within the hour at any rate, sometimes there was a lag, posted an announcement, you would get a notification in your email. When the Blackboard app worked, there was briefly an app available. It would ding on your phone just like, you know, any sort of weather alert or a text message or whatever. It would. Hopefully this app does that. I haven't played with it yet, though, as I said. All right, so you got two settings here. First of all, there's a summary of activity for each of your courses. Mine was set to never as a default. Daily sounds okay. I'm not sure if I'll come to like this or hate this, but And then I just picked a random time. By 7:30 at night, hopefully I'm done working on my classes. So it seemed like a decent time for me to say, okay, send me a summary of the day's activities. You might want it first thing in the morning, in which case I don't know what you'd get. Possibly nothing. Possibly the night before. I'm not a first thing in the morning kind of guy, by the way. For a few more weeks, I'm going to be taking my daughter to school, so I will be up nice and early. But once she's done with that, I might slide into a 9, 10 o'clock kind of guy real quick. We'll see how that goes. So anywho, this isn't the important one though. Okay, this is just a daily summary. If you want it, you want it, that's fine. Much more important is right here. There's a whole slew of things, some more beneficial than others. But right here, new announcement available. I have it clicked for an email. Now, I have not given this thing my phone number yet. Some of you may choose to do that. Some of you don't need another text coming to you. But it looks like that is also an option. All right, so please make sure, at the very least, you have new announcements available. Announcements updated. Sure, maybe. I don't usually go back and edit announcements, but I suppose that's kind of cool. Assignments. Again, it's up to you. You could click all these. Depends how many messages you want. I don't know that it'll put them all into one email. That would be nice. But again, we're fairly going to be, hopefully we'll be fairly consistent with the content and the assignments. I plan on giving it to you guys a week at a time, letting you work on the entire week's work. And if I did post something new, I would tell you in an announcement. Okay, I guess I'm old school that way. Old dog doesn't learn new tricks, whatever you want to say. Again, I'm not sure how important these are, because if I do make any changes, I'll let you know through an announcement. Anywho, the only thing that might be nice, and I don't know if they legitimately only mean quizzes or if tests count as a quiz in their mind, it might be nice for you to get a reminder that a test is going to be shutting off soon. Now, again, since it's summer, 2 days away is huge. Okay, we're hardly ever going to have that much time to take a test. You registered for an accelerated 5-week course. A semester's typically 14 to 15 weeks. So essentially, we're doing this in a third of the time. Okay. So you miss a day, you missed a week kind of thing. Just about. So 2 days away is a little short, but again, it is better than nothing. Include my grade value notification from grades. I'm not entirely sure what that means. That was checked already as a default. All right. And then exclude some courses. Let's say for some crazy reason you're taking 3 courses this summer and you don't want these rules to apply to that course. I guess you could add it into here. But my one and only goal right now is make sure that you click on notify for new announcements. Okay. And if you guys want to check out the app and let me know how it goes throughout the semester, that'd be swell. And it looks like you do have to hit save down here once you're done. Okay, so Earth Science. For the moment, this is our landing page. Okay. And they call these widgets. And different teachers have different, will probably have different landing pages. Again, hopefully you're only taking one class this 5 weeks, but let's say you take another one the second 5 weeks, the teacher might have their site set up a slightly different way. So I've got basically each week under a widget, and everything that I expect you to do for that week will be there. But I have one additional widget here for the moment, and that's getting started widget. And this is where all of your basic course information is. This is where I will post this video when I'm done recording it. Okay, it's exactly what you would maybe hope to find here. The course syllabus, the course schedule, a little silly blurb about me. Here's me, by the way, since I don't have the camera on, or at least me a couple semesters ago. Well, actually, this one's a few years ago. I think I did send you a picture in the announcement the other day. Let's see. Probably not supposed to use the back buttons. Up here, since we're just going randomly here, you guys probably see different stuff than here, but there's always should be a course home, okay, and the content button. I'm not sure how many of these other things you're going to see, but I'm just trying to get to this picture of me. There's me. Okay, nice to meet you. All right, anyhow. So back to getting started. I'm not going to sit here and read the syllabus to you, but do take a couple minutes and browse this. There's a PDF that you can click to download. Whether or not you print it out, that's entirely up to you. But syllabus is here. You'll want to get a copy of the lecture text. Okay. I am a lecture-based class. This is a lecture-based class. I'm a lecture-based teacher, which means, again, I'm going to talk to you and tell you what I want you to know. You back up that material. You reinforce that material by reading it in the lecture text. Okay. It fills in the gaps. Gives you a little more insight in some instances, so on and so forth, of what's going on. Okay. There is not a lab book for this class. I'll provide you the lab content that I need you to have, with two exceptions. One of them, you do need to get this mineral and rock kit, okay, from the bookstore. When you registered for the class, it should have told you, you need this book and that book. So in addition to that, you needed this mineral and rock collection. It's a small kit. It's unfortunately like $50 for 16 specimens. The good news is we've just worked out an arrangement where they can buy these back. For years, they've never been able to buy them back because there wasn't a way to put it into the system. Okay, but now they can. And, just make sure all your rocks are in there. Keep it in, as nice a condition as you can. And hopefully you'll get, half of your money back if we're lucky. So please get the rock and mineral kit. The other thing you need, we'll talk about it more in a moment, is a world map. All right, for a semester-long project that we do, you need a world map. You could do this on paper, or you could do it digitally. And again, we'll talk about that in a moment. But if you choose to do it on paper, you will want to go to the store and buy a map in addition to a mineral and rock kit. Anyhow, class time and location. Obviously, it's on the D2L site, and there is a schedule I'll show you in a couple minutes. Course description. Basically, in earth science, you've got a couple of big topics, okay? You've got earth science is composed of many sciences. You've got geology, you've got meteorology, you've got astronomy, you've got oceanography, okay? Basically all of your components of the earth. And we're going to try and, talk about each of those throughout the semester. Your learning objectives here. You guys are interested in this over here. Tests and everything else. Okay. Everything else is basically labs and assignments. So what this is telling you is that the majority of your final grade will be based on the lecture tests. Okay. But you've got still a decent chunk of points coming in from all of these assignments. Again, be they lecture assignments or, the 14 labs that you're going to do. Again, we have a lab requirement of 1 per week during a regular semester. There's 14 weeks. So over the next 5 weeks, believe it or not, you're going to be going through 14 labs. It's a lot of work, okay? I just want you guys to understand that. Accelerated class is going to be a lot of work each week. But you'll be done with it before you know it. So try your best, stick to it, stick with it, and you'll get your credit done, and you won't have to worry about it during the regular semester. So what else? Email is the best way to contact me. Don't try to find some way to email through D2L. Please don't. Just type my email into an actual, your email program, MV Mail or Mac Mail or Google Mail. Well, don't use your Gmail account because it'll end up in spam, but type me an actual email, okay? I think if you try to send me one through this system, that I only see it when I log on to here. And again, you don't want me necessarily, just like I don't want you to wait to see an announcement until you log on. You may want me to read your email a lot sooner than that. So please, if you send it just good old-fashioned email, it's going to go to my phone, and I check my phone 1,000 times a day, probably just like you do. So if not more, I'm kind of an email nut. So, all right, where were we? Email, and I'm not on campus. You're probably not on campus. So office hours are kind of be held through email. If it's something that's just way too long or complicated to type, we certainly could set up a Zoom or something like that and do a video chat. But I've found for the most part, just about anything can be solved over email. But always an option, though. Always an option. Personal electronic devices in the classroom, just like your teacher's going to yell at you if you've got a set of headphones on in class on campus. You want to try and do the same, kind of have the same rules, same environment if you can when you're at home. And to varying degrees, I know that's going to be tough, especially as we get towards the end of the semester and maybe brothers and sisters or your own kids are going to be home from school. You're going to have to find a time to carve out for yourself. But you need that peace and quiet kind of area where you can concentrate on your class, okay? So don't try and, listen to my lecture, do your lab with your cell phone on next to you and you're texting 4 different people and watching a YouTube video about this and, treat it like you're actually in class, okay? And hopefully you'll have a much better time of it. The other thing, and this is just a toughie, it's honor system, if you would, the tests, okay? Please still study for the tests. If you try to look up every answer, be it Googling or using the handouts that I give you for each of the lectures, okay, you're not going to get through the test questions in a sufficient amount of time. It takes time to look stuff up, right? So you're not going to get through all the questions. We time these tests. You get about a minute per question. Please just, again, pretend you're on campus and you don't have access to your notes. And you should have zero problem getting through the tests if you're properly prepared. Attendance. So if this is like Blackboard, I have yet to poke around looking at this. It lets me know a whole lot about your clicking, okay? Tells me how long when you log on, how long you stay on for, and probably even what you've clicked on. Okay, it tracks, you worry about these websites tracking your every move. These learning sites definitely do, okay? And that's for a number of reasons. One thing, it can protect you. You say, look, I was on there, I did do this, and your teacher's like, yeah, prove it. Well, there is that record there. And then similarly, unfortunately, you guys get burned to the other end of this, and you tell us, oh, I've been on every day, and we look and you haven't been on for like 3 weeks. Okay, so please understand that your teachers can look and see when you were on and when you clicked. Um, so, point being, okay, even for online classes, we take attendance. And what I'll base that on is looking at the last time you logged on, okay? Again, with summer, if you miss a day, you may have well have missed a week. Okay, it's fast, fast, fast. Now, I realize you guys have jobs, you have this, you have that, you have the other thing. So I don't have any time. That's what this class is, asynchronous, right? You know what that word means by now. We're post-COVID. It doesn't matter if you log on at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night, or 1 in the morning, whatever. As long as you're on at least once a day checking out your work, okay, that's your attendance, and you're there, you're legit participating. So, understood? If not, email me. If you have any accommodations, you do need to let me know. All right. Test extensions, whatever. We'll take care of that. No problem. If you miss a test, God help you. No, I'm only half joking, but again, accelerated class. If you miss a test, we'll try to give you the opportunity to make it up, but understand that you basically have a test at the end of every week, okay? And you can't get too far behind on those, or they're just going to crumble down on you and bury you. So please just do your best to work your butt off for a month and keep up with the class. But stuff happens. I understand that. Communication, okay? Communication. I have the right to request a doctor's note. I don't typically do that. But just stay in communication with me, with any of your teachers, and things go fine. So I told you I wasn't going to read this to you, and sure, it turns out I ended up going through most of it here. But do take some time and read it over yourself for everything else. So we were under getting started. Something probably more useful than the syllabus is the schedule. Again, there's a copy right here if you'd like to print one out or just have your own. So this schedule doesn't 100% mesh with what's going on, but it'll certainly give you a good idea. As I said, I put the tabs. Let me see if I can open another screen here. So each week is under its own, not tab, each week is under its own widget. So for week 1, all right, lecture 1, an assignment, lecture 2, lecture 3, and an assignment, lecture 4, and then a couple labs. All right, and don't worry, we will go back to this in a minute, but I just want to show you something. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lectures. The schedule kind of has nature of science and atomic review all blended into one lecture, okay? And then history of environmentalism and then water cycle. So you might look at this and say, wait a minute, there's only 3 lectures, but topic-wise, everything is covered. You follow? So this is a suggestion of how you spread out the work. In semesters past, I would literally turn this stuff on, 1 a day. I'm trying something different with you guys. It's a new operating system here. I'm trying a new system myself. I'm going to give you the entire week's work at the beginning, and I think that might work better for some of you guys who are able to work or who need to work in spurts. All right. The one thing that doesn't really float, okay, or change, I should say, are these test days. So this week, the end of we'll just call it a unit for a moment. The end of the unit test is on Thursday. Next week, Because of Memorial Day, we have Monday off as well, and I'm giving you Friday off, by the way. You notice that? All right. We start on Tuesday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you've got lecture, and so your lecture test is on Friday at that point. So the end of that unit is on Friday. This week, the week after that, it's on a Thursday again. I'm not sure why I gave you Thursday the 15th off. That may be a weird holdover from something that was going on last semester. I may change this, okay? Just FYI. Cosmology is a lot of stuff, a lot of things to remember, a lot of vocabulary. So maybe I gave you a study day or something. I'm not really sure what I was thinking, but I'll look at the calendar and see. So that might change, and if it does, I'll post an announcement about it. And then the last week, we've got the test on Friday again. Okay, so that's lecture. If you're wondering what this is the hours. They call it the Carnegie system. It's not just SUNY, it's sort of nationwide. If you register for a 3-hour class or a 4-hour class, that is supposed to account for X number of hours in the classroom, so on and so forth. So this is our tally. This is our keeping track of time spent in the classroom in 2.25-hour sections. Okay, so each day, you have a class on campus that runs a couple days a week. You might meet for 50 minutes, right? Or if it meets 2 times a week, it might run an hour 20. Okay, well, as I said, this is triple time. So every day we're supposed to be meeting for 2.25 hours. The lectures don't always run 2.25 hours. That includes you reading the book. That includes you, working on learning the vocabulary words. It's not just the amount of lecture. All right. Oftentimes it's going to be very close to that. And it'll make up sometimes, like water cycle isn't very long at all. Okay, so we'll make up for those really long lectures with a short one here or there. In the end, it all sort of balances out, all sort of averages out. Now, additionally, each week, in addition to lecture, you guys have labs. This is a lab class. So again, on campus, let's say Tuesday and Thursday, you might have lecture, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you might have lecture. But then on another day, at another time, you would go to the lab room, right? Okay? Well, the same idea here. And unfortunately, every so often, a few of you forget that there's lab for this class. You got to do work in both sides. So hopefully with this schedule being combined like this, you won't forget. Or it'll be easier to remember at any rate. So this week, in addition to working through this lecture material and the couple of lecture assignments, we have 2 lab assignments for you. Natural Disasters Lab, which we'll talk about soon, and then just a math and science review. It's a worksheet. All right. Next week, we've got these lectures. You've got these labs to work through. All right, capiche? You understand? And you will find those in those same widgets. I thought about breaking this stuff up, like having a widget for lectures and having a widget for labs. And this is one of the things where in the end I'm going to solicit your feedback. Maybe you would have liked to have seen all your lectures right here, all of your labs right here, all of your assignments, in another section. I don't know. Okay. So, give me some feedback, hopefully constructive, in the end, on whether or not you liked everything tucked in a nice little package here for each week. In an ideal world, I could present it both ways. I could have all this content duplicated into more folders if you just wanted to go find, scroll through the lectures for some reason. I don't know. So anywho, so your entire week is right here. So firstly, we've got a lecture here. These are lecture casts, all right? And so what you do is you click on there, Here's this wonderful lecture of me. These go to YouTube for captioning. The captions aren't great, but they aren't horrible either. If you need or would benefit from them, please make sure you can turn them on. That's why these are on YouTube. Okay. This here should always be the handout. Nice. It's not working. Not sure what it's going to process. Yeah, it says it's right there. Yeah, that is not the handout. Huh. All right. Well, that's something I'm going to work on when I'm done with this recording. So you should be able to, and this is something, please guys, send me an email, okay? If you find out a problem like this on some other page or whatever. I don't know why it's not there, though, in all honesty. So I will work on that when I'm done. But there should be a lecture and a handout for you at any rate. I'm nervous now. Let's make sure number 2 works. Huh. Well, maybe as a patch for this, I'm just going to make a widget for handouts, okay? And we'll put all your handouts there as downloadable items because I don't know what's going on here. And yeah, so I'll fix that in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so going back to different units and the topics we'll cover. So you sort of have like an intro here, a little bit of a hodgepodge, a little bit of everything, reminding you about the scientific method, reminding you about protons and neutrons, a little bit about caring for the Earth, and the water cycle, because the water cycle touches on a whole bunch of these things. Then next, it's still sort of an introduction, but all kinds of information about the Earth in general. Then we go into meteorology, and then astronomy, and then geology. Okay, so we touch on, as I said, a little bit of everything there. Something to note. All right, the start date is the start date, but the end date perhaps that's listed on the website, course search. I don't even know what the date is, but we're going to be ending on the 23rd. Makes me wonder now what it is. Let's look real quick. So we're supposed to go through the 26th, okay? But because I met our hours by working your butts off here, but look, you still get, you get long weekends. Anyhow, because I worked you guys the way we did here, we got our hours in by the 23rd, okay? And actually, we're going just a tad over here to take this last test. But again, this is an average overall. Some lectures are longer than others. Minute-wise, I'm not taking more of your time than necessary. And like I said, in fact, we're getting out a little early, so that's nice. All right. So if you have any additional questions about the schedule, let's see, does this link work? Okay, good. Getting nervous that none of my links are working here. What's left? Really, I just want to show you. Oh, you know what? And I'm going to tell you, this has got to be a function of you guys see something a little different than I do. So after you listen to the first lecture, I want you to watch a couple YouTube videos about different ways that we think about science, different philosophers, early scientific thinkers, right? And then I want you to type up, a short paragraph telling me what kind of thinker you are. Out of these, I think there's 5 different philosophers here: Plato, Aristotle, Galileo, Bacon, and Descartes. Tell me, which one is closest to you, or a couple, or maybe none of them. So I don't know where you would submit that. All right, this is an assignment, possibly right here. But again, I see all this garbage down here, which I assume you won't. So I don't know if you guys see this or not. But presumably, this is where you're going to put your answer. I'm sorry, I don't know better, but I've never used this as a student. Okay, and to my knowledge, I don't have the option for student view. Let's see what quick eval is. No, that is not that. So, yeah, again, in Blackboard, well, publisher tools maybe. Oh, no, not at all. In Blackboard, I had just one button I could click on, and I would see the student view. I haven't found that. I'm sure there is a button for it, but I haven't found it yet. So I don't know what you guys see, okay? Yeah, I'm just going to stop clicking. At any rate, so if you find out how to answer this question, maybe shoot me a quick email, please. If you try and can't figure out how to submit your answer here, again, let me know. We'll work through this together. Oh, that is one thing I wanted to tell you guys. Let's go back to course home. As a way of getting stuff to show up over here, I had to pick due dates. Okay. I'm not a huge stickler for due dates. Again, it's really easy to get behind in summer. Okay. But I'm not one of those guys that typically says, if it's not done by 11:59 on Sunday night, I don't want it. Yeah, of course I still want it. Okay. Of course you still need to do it, and so on and so forth. But in order to help you guys with kind of like having a checklist of things to do, and I think also to get it to show up on the calendar. Yeah, see? And to show up on the calendar, I had to pick due dates. Hopefully, hey, 3 people visited the course so far. Nice. Hopefully it wasn't just me and the 2 ladies that were helping me answering questions for me 7:30 this morning. At any rate, if for some reason, and I always pick the Friday, okay, so the end of the week, the assignments are due, with a few exceptions. This natural disasters, the map lab I told you about, where you need a world map, okay, I didn't call it the natural disasters map yet. That's due the end of the semester. That's due like the last day of class. But basically everything else is due by the end of the week. So that being said, if Friday night comes and goes and you didn't turn in your math and science review lab and it's Sunday afternoon and you're just thinking about it, of course I still want it. Okay? Please still turn it in. If for some strange reason it won't let you turn it in, let me know. All right? Please let me know and I'll work on making that usable. So that should help keep you guys on task. That's been one of the primary complaints I'd get over the last, I've been teaching online for years, even before COVID. But I never did due dates, and a lot of my colleagues apparently, do. So you guys got used to seeing these schedules for you, and I never had that. So now I do. All right, I don't want to, take up too much of your time here. We've got content for you to actually look at. I did just did want to spend a moment and talk about the Natural Disasters Map Lab. This is that world map thing, okay? And I told you could go out and buy a paper one. There's some online ones. If you're comfortable editing a picture, this is horrible. I don't know why I still have this one even in the link. There's too much print on this thing. Let's see, this one. Is it the same one? Maybe it's just because I'm on a tiny screen. So you need a map of the world at any rate. And let's say in Florida, God forbid, we're not going to curse them or anything, but let's say a giant hurricane hits there tomorrow, okay? You're going to put a big old X right there, and on a separate piece of paper, you're going to write Hurricane Alvin hits Miami on May 23rd. It was a Category 2, and really that's about it. Okay, and then you're going to wait for the next thing to happen. Now, in just over a month's time, I don't expect a whole lot of things to happen, but lo and behold, I just within yesterday afternoon to this morning, I just saw notifications come through on my Yahoo. Again, I'm old. I still use Yahoo. But there's an earthquake and 2 volcanoes. All right. So I'm going to send you links for those. And to get you started, the earthquake was over in California. All right. So you'd put an X there. One of the volcanoes was over in Italy. The other, I want to say, was somewhere in South America. And this is something I talk about. I got too many tabs open now. This is something I talk about over in the instructions, which are right here. You're going to want to, just like on a normal map, you're going to want to, oops, just saw some classmate names there, sorry. You're going to want to label things differently. So a volcano, maybe you use a red marker for a weather event, use a blue marker for an earthquake, use, green for, and let's say since we have volcanoes, a couple volcanoes already, you might call it V1, V2, V3. You understand, as far as keeping your list of things. So you got 2 parts to this. You've got the map that you're annotating. This is basically to show you that Earth science is current events, okay? Something's always happening on the Earth around you. We're just going to take a month and, try to keep track of some of that stuff. Now, that being said, all right, I don't want you going to the Geological Survey's earthquake page and writing down every single little earthquake that you see on that page, because there are going to be a bunch. All right? That's not the goal. The goal is to monitor the news, basically. All right? Now, I've trained my Yahoo over the years. It delivers me science content. All right? You guys all know about the algorithms and all that stuff. So for some of you who maybe don't click on a whole lot of science articles, you might not see this. But even my Weather Channel app on my phone will notify me of earthquakes and volcanoes and whatnot. So just keep your ears open, keep your eyes open as you're clicking around the web. What we want you marking are big events that make the news, okay? And again, I'll do my best to notify you of these things as I see them. And hopefully the more you click on them, then once I send you the links and you click on them, again, those algorithms will start feeding you more Earth science events. But so again, because there's 100 earthquakes every day all over the world. It's just that they're small or in places where nobody lives, or I don't want to say nobody cares about, but it sure as heck doesn't make the news cycle. You follow? So you would inundate inundate your map with all kinds of stuff. Speaking of inundating, flooding, if God forbid somewhere out in California they start having mudslides or wildfires. There's actually some wildfires going in Canada right now. I think I saw yesterday. Any of that stuff, not just volcanoes and earthquakes and hurricanes, but anything, big and bad that's going on. Feel free to put it on your map. Okay. I started to talk about digitally. All right. So you find a map you like, and you're free to Google your own map. And then you would write on it digitally. All right. That's the new fancy way of doing it. Most folks make a couple visits, or maybe to the local stores, or get on Amazon, and they find themselves a good old-fashioned paper map. All right, poster sized. Tape it up on the wall for a month, and you just write on it with markers. And then at the end of the semester, you'd take pictures of that and submit it. Okay, it's all in here. Read about it, absorb it, ask me some questions, and that's the big thing, guys. Okay, communicate, communicate, communicate. Maybe some of you are from different schools this semester. You're home, so to speak, for the summer, and you're taking a class at MV. Maybe you've used D2L already. If you've got some tips to share with me that I could share with your classmates, that'd be great. I don't have the discussion board turned on, the threads. I've never used them, but maybe this would be a good time to learn how to do that myself. And you guys could share tips and tricks and whatnot, but at the moment they're not on. So I'm going to wrap this up. We're already over 45 minutes, which was not my intention. So take care, have fun, learn a little, and ask questions. Bye-bye.